get all this set up again here. Our second stream of the day. Doing a morning stream on Twitch, afternoon stream on YouTube. Give me a couple of minutes here to settle in. All right. I think I've about got everything here. 3 minutes is gonna zap away. I think we're about ready. How's everyone doing? Good meridian, whether that is AM or PM for you. Hope everyone's doing all right. Let's go ahead and open up a spreadsheet. I've got a little spreadsheet here, some notes on things that I should be doing. This morning stream on Twitch, we checked for updates to the waifu bot. We checked for contest entry possibilities to get involved in. We did quite a few things. We do have a wallet set aside for giveaways now. It's not really much is in there. Potatoes has donated some first winnings, 20 frost bloaters. Kind of a spoof prize, I guess. One thing that we're about to do here in about 14 minutes is come back over to our account here. We take a look at, oops, is this not the right one? Oh, let's refresh this. See what's going on with this account. Rock 808B. Active quests. Yeah, here we go. About 14 minutes. And then we're going to be collecting Galena. That is our Gen0. I'd like to do another Gen0 Summons with her. We might consider that today. The problem is, it's going to cost about 100 crystal. And I'm not sure if I've got that right now. We recently had to put quite a bit of money back into some of the pools that we had taken out temporarily to even purchase Galena or Gen0. And so right at the very moment, I'm a little low on funds. So we might have to wait on that. In the meantime, I think what we could do is take a look at stamina potions for her. We're trying to get her up to level 10 as quickly as we can. I think she's level 3 at the moment. Moving right along. Been feeding her some stamina potions, so she is gaining a little faster than normal. But we are down to, I think, our very last one. So in 14 minutes when it's up, we will go ahead and collect. Use his last stamina potion on her, send her back out for another 4 hours. But after that, we're going to need some gold, actually, to make some more stamina potions. So let's talk about that a little bit. Maybe we can do a little bit more maneuvering and wrangling here. Let's see. Potatoes, potatoes. Howdy, howdy. Hello. Welcome on in. Thanks for joining us here, hanging out. I'm pretty sure that you are ready for the chat that Sergeant Filthy McNasty and I are going to have. I guess it's in about 7.5 more hours from now. On his channel. I guess it is one thing that I might want to do sometime soon. Maybe a little bit later. We'll show that and give a link once more people jump into the stream here. So Potatoes, how's your day going? What are you up to? What's on your list of things to do for the day? Let's take a quick look at getting some gold back over to this account. I'm going to go ahead and copy the wallet address, and let's go check out DFK 1 account. I think that this one has 27,000 gold that's been sitting at 27,000 the entire time. So why do we need all this gold over here? I can't think of a good reason. Can't think of a good reason to have this gold here. See, going to look at Fight Club heroes for purchase. Oh yeah, maybe that's something that we could do also on this end. I was thinking about summoning at least once or twice more. Maybe, you know, grab our own. I was thinking that finding a Gen0 on or in the tavern for sale might be a little rough. My thinking is that I'm 98% sure that there are some bots that people have that are scooping up all the best, greatest deals and doing it fairly quickly. And if that's the case, then I'm probably not going to get anything that's very good. This kind of mediocre, average, or low quality. And if I'm going to want anything that is good quality, I'm probably going to have better luck, or I guess we all are going to have better luck summoning those on our own, right? But I'm low on funds as I bought some yesterday after the teaser drop info. Oh yeah, oh my goodness, right? So that teaser really does inspire buying some more heroes indeed. Yeah, I'm kind of low on funds right now myself, as we just bought not too long ago Galena, our latest Gen0, and then I've had to replenish the liquidity pools that I had pulled from. So I'm a little low on funds right now myself. Yeah, so the best deals, you're saying, are swiped before they even appear in the tavern. Absolutely right. Yeah. I also think that there's a couple of friends in the game where they probably trade amongst themselves first anything that's really good, right? Like, hey, I'm about to give away this really good whatever it is. Would you or any one of you in this group of friends like that? And I think that that's probably the way that a lot of things are given away. Plus, I think DFK community is fairly tight. There's not a huge number of players. Something that I also was thinking about is maybe it would be interesting to look at the blockchain and try to discover how many players are active, or maybe I should say how many wallets are active. That could be interesting too. It seems like somebody already knows that information. Now, if they're publishing it or not, that's another story, right? Let's go ahead and send this gold over. Guess we're going to send all, but I think we should just send all of it. Why would I need gold on this bot account right here? I think the only reason, if I was going to make a stamina potion, if I was going to have this bot work with stamina potions on its own, which I'm not, I can't think of any other reason why I would need to keep gold over here. And because I can't, I'm going to go ahead and send this. Let's go ahead and approve the contract first. I can always send the gold back if I absolutely need it on this account. But I can't think of any reason that I would. Most of the things that I would want to do outside of the duties of the automation, I think I would want to do on the other main account that's not connected to the bot, the Rock 808B account. Let's go ahead and paste this over there. Oops. There we go, Rock 808B. So I think sending all this will give me probably the ability to create 10, I guess, or maybe close to 13 stamina potions. That's a decent amount, but still, that's not everything we're going to need. I did a little work on the spreadsheet, potatoes, and it looks like I'm going to need about 400 stamina potions and 3 months to get Galena up to level 10. That is a bit of expense and time still. Let's see. You say, very interested in seeing what activity is like. Indeed. Yeah. Yeah, that's something that I'm kind of interested in too. Taking a look at the blockchain, seeing what kind of activities out there. Who's moving what around. And even if we don't have names attached to addresses, of course, everything's on the blockchain. You can see that. Kind of interesting to see how much of what is getting moved around. Potatoes, did you see one of the latest DFK videos from Brown Gent? It was something, there was a topic, I think the video was called something like DFK's Hidden Secret or Great Secret or something like that. And it's slightly about a topic that I've been thinking about for a while. I don't really want to say it myself. Of course, now me talking about it on stream is just as good as me saying it, right? Yeah. Just saw it last night. Absolutely. Specifically, the part about the fact that no real new money is being generated by DFK, right? We all know that, right? I guess deep down, we all know that. And so the money that we're swapping around is all just our own friends and buddies. And, if you're making money, then that just means that one of our other, friends here is losing money, right? And, even when you look at that at a bigger scale, hey, we need to get more people in here. And what the hope is, I guess, is that we're just going to take money from them, right? Yikes. I haven't given a whole lot of thought. Of course, his video is really good as far as if you're trying to get the most financial gain from the game. And I'm not necessarily sure that that's the proper way to think about it, at least not for me. Like I was talking about on the Twitch stream earlier this morning, there's been plenty of games pay to play or free to play that you can then have the opportunity to pay a little additional money for, or any money at all, since in general you could play for free. But generally those free to play games do give players an opportunity to go ahead and pay some small amount, and then you get some bonuses or faster upgrades and all that kind of stuff. And I've never had a problem paying for those type of games, right? It's always good. I consider this entertainment, just like going to the movies or paying for the movies, paying for, just like you would pay to go bowling or shooting pool or something like that. And so it's never been too big of a deal that, say that I've reset this to 0, reset to 0. And so in that particular case, I wouldn't really mind losing a little bit of money or ultimately having a smaller amount of money in my wallet afterwards. Of course, part of the fun is succeeding at this and growing your bag, of course. But that's not necessarily my main mission all the time. And then, of course, there's also the saying of, or the analogy of you and your friend are out in the woods and you run across a bear and the bear starts to chase you, or both of you all together, and you throw off your backpack, right? You take off your backpack and toss it to the ground, and your buddy's running along there with you as you're all running away from the bear, and your buddy says, "Hey, why'd you do that? It's not going to help you outrun the bear," because, of course, bears can run faster than humans. And so the other guy says, or I guess we shouldn't say it's you and somebody else, but this joke is these two guys are doing it. And the guy who throws off his backpack says, "Oh yeah, I don't need to outrun the bear. I just need to outrun you," right? Kind of indicating that as soon as the bear catches the slowest person, then the bear is satisfied and happy and gonna, munch on this slow person. And then the faster person doesn't need to outrun the bear, just the slowest person, right? And so maybe that's a way to look at the game as well, is as long as I'm playing a little bit better than 80% of the other players and making a little bit of money, then that's fine. I don't need to beat every single player. But if the game continues on for a long time, then those top 10 players could suck the entire financial pool out of the entire game, right? The idea would be that new money needs to get injected, or the game needs to find a way to get new money injected all the time. And probably not from new players, because that sounds very much like a Ponzi scheme in a way, right? There's only so many humans on Earth, and once you get your bags liquidated by some game, whatever game it is, you're probably not going to play that game again. So those people aren't coming back. Potato says, unfortunately, I see many investors, in quotes, that I don't fully understand what they're getting into, or that fully don't understand what they're getting into. We need to keep in mind that we are in beta and bear market. Yes, difficult topic. Absolutely right. And that is very interesting. We are in a beta and a bear market. But ultimately, the idea is, right, it's a difficult topic. And like I said, I've hesitated to speak this out loud because I don't want to say a lot. But that is the case. Unless DeFi Kingdoms can, or any, it's not just DeFi Kingdoms, it's really any crypto game, right? Every crypto game has to find, if you're going to be doing something like a crypto game where you can have some financial reward from that, if you cannot find, or if the crypto gaming community in general can't find a way to bring in new money, and by, I guess, really kind of generate money, and how would you do that? Nobel, hey, how you doing? How is your day going, Nobel? Good to see you again. Let's go ahead and hop over to the other account. And we are collecting gold and sending gold. Potato says, I see many with no patience and conviction liquidate at a loss. Unfortunately, these are also the loudest voices to complain. Yeah, that is true. You know, oftentimes, and not everyone that loses is I don't want to say necessarily a bad loser, but because I wouldn't say that people that complain are necessarily bad losers, but certainly there are some people that get liquidated and they are very vocal about that, indeed. And that can bring some bad light to the game or a platform or something, unfortunately. So here we've gained 2,000 gold, and as we were talking about on the stream early this morning, it took these 3 heroes a week to gain this gold. That seems like a long time to get the amount of gold that I would need for 1 stamina potion. I'm just not really happy with that. If we were going out on quests, so let's take this account over here and let's take a look at the history on the blockchain and scroll back to the blockchain here. Let's refresh also just to make sure we've got latest information, latest stuff here. So let's take a look a little bit further back at the blockchain. Uh-oh. Some of these gardeners are still just an hour ago pulling away 0.004 crystal and jewel. How? Oh, maybe they are going up against a... oh, man. I didn't think about that. I didn't reset the types of gardens that we're going after, so they're probably going after gardens that I'm not pooled in right now. Since I changed my pools a little bit, I went to a crystal Bitcoin pool instead of something else. So, oh man, I need to change that. But let's look back here a little bit further. Here we've got another pair of gardeners that have grabbed a little bit of jewel and crystal. And here we've got some crystal. Okay. Why are they only bringing back 0.3 crystal? This, I think, is going to be a group of miners, but I've only got groups of 6. So it's interesting that as a group of 6 miners really only bringing back 0.3 crystal. I haven't looked at this in a while. I guess I was kind of like a set it and forget it type of mindset on that. Oh no, this is also minus. This was a with the Shavas, this was a level up automatically happening. I'm looking for pluses here. So this is what I'm looking for. Plus or 4 crystal plus. That sounds better. And then we're sending some stuff. Let's look around a little bit more here. So here is again completing a quest, and we've got a little bit more jewel and crystal here. This is probably from the crystal Ethereum pool, 0.84 and 0.43. Coming back from that set. Here again, looks like a, actually that looks like a fisher coming back. Jewel and crystal. Probably a forager. So here's 9 crystal coming back from that quest, I guess. Is that right? Claim? Oh no, this was my claim from this morning from the garden. So I claimed 9 crystal. And so let's see. So here we got a complete quest. 4 crystal from that group of miners as well. And I suppose that we're going to see mining every 4 hours. So I guess I should just skip ahead to 10 hours. Let's see. Here we go. 10 hours is 4.19. So these miners are bringing back 4 crystal every 4 hours. Of course, again, that's only because there's 18 of them coming in 3 groups of 6 to bring back that much, right? But they are still bringing this much back. And so what I really want to look at here is, let's do some math on that. Or actually not math. I want to come into the trader. We could do a lot of math, or we could just have the trader help us out more quickly with this. Let the trader do all the math. If I have 4.19 crystal, let's say, and I want to turn that into gold, that's going to be 8,000 gold. So I would much rather have those heroes not going for gold, which took me a week, I think, to get the 2,000, as opposed to one trip getting 4.19 crystal would be the equivalent of 8,000 gold. I'm going to need to look at that a little bit more closely, because what I'm seeing here is I don't think I want to be sending them on the training quests, right? So as we were talking about on this morning's stream, even sending on the training quests, or one of the main reasons to send on the training quests, is because you get some of these attunement crystals. And we liked the attunement crystals rather than having to buy them. But, I mean, if we're able to get in one trip 4 crystal, then that would be enough to buy an attunement crystal right there, rather than having to convert gold into crystal to buy attunement crystals. All right, let's take care of something else first and foremost, and that is the amount of gold here that we've got is 2,150, and what I want to do is look at, I want to send 2,125, which is what we had this morning. Send items to this address. Oops, not that address. This address here. Oops, no, not that address either. This address here. Send to Rock 808B, the maximum amount, or actually we only want to send 2125 send items. So that's the amount that I had this morning, because again, tomorrow morning we're going to want to check to see how much we gained in the last day. So 2125 is what we had this morning. Reset to 0 is what I'm going to put in the notes. And so this 50 that we've gained here is all that we've gained so far since this morning. Or I'm sorry, 25 that we've gained here. But that's interesting also, that this account has only gained 25 gold since 10 a.m., I guess. So it's about 5 hours. Let's check out what our heroes are doing. There's not very many heroes here. There's only 3, right? And they need to get up to 25 stamina before they can be sent again. So obviously this one was sent fairly recently, and these were sent maybe more than 4 hours ago. Yeah, that could be. All right. So let's come over to the account for DFK 3. We should have a decent amount of gold over here now. And then we can craft some stamina potions, I think, for Galena, which, by the way, is ready to go right this very minute. So let's go ahead into active quests, or let's refresh this because there should be an active quest running. Yep, collect her. And we're checking out how much she's gaining in XP each time. And we're also kind of thinking about how much gold she's getting as well. I'm not quite as interested in that. $80 gold and 164 XP, so that's a little on the higher side. And the reason that, let's see, plus 164 experience. So what I'm doing is I'm keeping track on the spreadsheet a little bit about how much XP she's gaining each trip to find the average to see how long it's going to take to get up to level 10. And originally on the spreadsheet, I had about an average of 140 experience. So the last two trips have been 150, 154 and 164 experience, which has both been a little higher than 140, although a couple of days ago it was indeed 140 experience. All right, and again, between 70 and 80 gold is what I'm seeing as far as the gold goes. All right. So now that she has gained that experience, let's go ahead and click on our inventory. Grab our last stamina potion, use that. She's out of stamina, but we will go ahead and select her to use the stamina potion on. Confirm. And then she should be ready to go back out to the gold mines yet again. So Potatoes, you're going to check out the tavern for some heroes to add into the tournament. What are you looking for? You know, last night I was supposed to look into the video I think that you were telling me about, the latest video. Maybe it was from Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms, that talked a little bit about some of the gameplay. I think you said, or somebody said, there was a short little video, a new one. I did not get a chance to do that. And so I did not learn anything new that I should be looking for. I'll probably try to do that today. Let's go into the quest list, go back into gold mining, and select Galena. She is all jacked up in her stamina again. We can select and continue, and then we can start that quest. Yes, I already brought 2. Just window shopping, really. Oh, cool. What type of things are you looking for when you're looking? Or maybe before the tournament, you don't want to share your much of your strategy there. From what I know, I would think I would want to take a priest. Now, again, this is just super high speculation since I haven't really looked into it too much. But I think I've heard something that a priest is really good. And also, perhaps a Dark Knight used to be really good, but I think they nerfed that a little bit. And I also think that maybe a level 1 is also a bit more nerfed than some of the higher levels. So maybe having a dark knight does not matter so much anymore. I've also heard that a berserker is not really very good. So unless they've made some changes there, I'm probably not looking for a berserker. Let me go ahead and update this alarm that I've got. Just give me another alarm in 4 hours and 9 minutes. We'll send her off again. But we do not have any more stamina potions at the moment. So we need to go and craft some. So let's go do that right now. So she's ready. Alchemist. And we want to start crafting. We want to craft these stamina vials right here. And we have got a lot. What's the maximum that we can do? 15. All right, we can do 15 total. That's going to take all of our 30,000 gold. Oh, man. It's going to take a fair number of some of our other stuff here as well, although it looks like we've got plenty. Don't have a lot of swift thistle. It's a little on the rare side, but still we've got a few more. And 15 of those is only going to last 15 more quests, which will get us only halfway up. Or I should say, we're almost only get us a third or halfway into level 5. Still, though, hopefully at some point we'll be getting a little bit more cash. And what I can see right here, this is a little bit of a degen play, I think, for myself right here, because technically I'm not in an urgent need for Galena to be level 10 or even level 5. What that will do is that will allow us to summon with some Gaia tiers, which will make those offspring a little bit better. I mean, that can be good. But it really only adds like 1 point. They're right at the beginning. And so to be spending this much, it seems that it's quite a bit to spend. Let's see. But yes, would be good to watch. Potatoes is saying, as far as the video goes, looking to match good main with good sub. Also a high hit point main with low health sub. High hit point main with low health sub. Focusing on no meter attacks. Yeah. I'll drop my key hero here. So far I got a Goon Priest, Stone Summon. Oh yeah. So Dragoons, I've heard, are pretty decent as well. Yeah, but I'm going to need to think about that a little bit more too. And you are right. I really need to watch their video, their latest video. That kind of goes in and determines what is good these days, because I know they have made some adjustments to the game. And again, I think I'm going to go into the game expecting to lose maybe even the first match. And I'm fine with that, totally fine. For me, it's not about winning, just kind of want to get in there and see what it's like a little bit, and then maybe show y'all. We will continue to stream that match, so when they have that, I will be streaming from my perspective. So what my plays are and all that kind of good thing. Plus, I will continue to stream as other people are playing their matches and maybe doing some commentary. But man, my commentary is not going to be nearly as good as some people who really know what's going on. It's like watching it'll be like watching a chess match, and the commentary is coming from someone who doesn't really play chess. I don't know if that's really the stream that you want to be watching for that. But I will be streaming it. Let's see. Okay. So what I'm thinking about here is, do I really want to spend all of this value here just to boost her up faster? And I think I do. It's a kind of a degen move. We're going to go ahead and do it. We're going to craft all of these items. 15 stamina vials. And again, we're out of gold then. So what I need to do is I need to find ways to get gold more quickly to get more stamina vials. And it seems like the way to do that would probably be not to necessarily go and quest for gold, but instead to quest for crystal and then convert that into gold, is my guess. Since in my situation, I seem to be able to get crystal faster than gold. And I'm going to need a lot of gold fairly quickly. Something else that we want to keep in mind is that if we come back to the marketplace, back into the trader, and say, hey, let's say we're trying to get gold, DFK gold. What happens if I just put in some US dollars instead? 10 US dollars would end up getting how much DFK gold here? Quite a bit, I think. Let's wait for that to update. I know it's going to update here in a minute. There we go. 10. 78,000 gold. Just for 10 bucks. And like I said, this is the type of thing that I would do even if it wasn't a crypto game where I was trying to get the most financial reward out of it. But even if I was just paying $10 for some entertainment, I'd be perfectly fine with that. I'd be paying that kind of stuff on all these other games anyway. Let's see. Potato says I might figure out a way for my doggo to select my moves if I'm not comfortable with strategy. Oh, man. That would be fun. All right, so now we should have a decent amount more stamina potions. We've got 15 stamina potions now. I'm running a little low on Swift Thistle. We've got no gold or not enough gold. So here's the next question, and that is, those 15 stamina potions, if I'm able to do 5 quests a day, the stamina potions are only going to last me 3 days. So how am I going to get another 30,000 gold in 3 days, or 10,000 gold a day? Let's look at this. Trader. 10,000 gold is just $1.20, 26, just $1.25. It's not a lot of US dollars, right? With comparing it to crystal, it's 5 crystal a day is what I would need to boost this Galena up. Some other accounts are indeed getting 5 crystal a day. If we take a look back at the spreadsheet, the DFK1 account that we have from the gardens is gaining 10 crystal a day just from the garden harvests. Of course, what that means is I'm not able to put that aside or convert that to jewel or do anything else with it. But in a way, I kind of feel like our highest priority right now is getting Galena up to at least level 5 and maybe level 10. Maybe something else that I should do here is determine a little bit more about how much these things are costing me and find out how much a stamina potion could cost. If I go into the vendor, they don't have any stamina vials in there. And if I remember correctly, this stuff changes every so often, right? Let's see, Potatoes is asking, what has been your best producing pools? So, I'm not really sure the best way to answer that other than to just come back to the gardens and say, I guess things with highest APRs, right? So we know that we're getting funds from the high APRs. And of course, a lot of that has to do with the pool allocation and how much money is already deposited there from other people. But I'm getting 107% APR from that, 105 from this, 102 from this. So in general, I think these pools are fairly diversified and even as far as the APRs go. I'm not exactly sure which ones of these are providing more funds, because part of the thing to consider here as well, if you're just talking about which ones have been my best personally, well, it's the Crystal ETH, but I would say that's really only because I've got $1,500, $1,450 in that pool. So of course it's generating a much larger return from the APR on that, right? And then these have got drastically smaller amounts invested in there. 158 USD value, 111.84 USD value. So even if I'm getting 100% APR from all of these, then of course the one with the highest value is going to be returning more back per day. Right? So is that what you mean by your question, Potatoes? What have been my most or my best producing pools? The highest APR with the highest value would be, ultimately the best ones, I guess. I don't know what other factors would come into play. I guess also you could see something which I have not done at all, but I suppose you could even look into it as far as what gardeners are being sent to garden those specific pools. And so if I had 2 of the best gardeners going to this specific pool as opposed to some of these other pools, maybe that would have, maybe I would be able to get higher return out of that as well. And again, if we look back at the history on the blockchain, looking at something like this, here's a set of gardeners that completed the quest and they pulled out 0.36 jewel and 0.36 crystal. But the reason that they're able to pull this much out right here is because they're going into a pool that has more value put into it, right? At least that's my understanding. And then when you have a gardener or a pair of gardeners like this coming out with 0.004, this is these 2 gardeners going to quest in a pool that I have 0 money in at all. And so they might be bringing out a couple of items, but they're not bringing back any substantial jewel crystal amount from the gardens. But that still doesn't stop my APR value coming out to be higher, right? So even though these 2 gardeners might not be pulling out a lot of funds, then this money is still gaining around the same APR that it would in any of these other pools. So in that particular case, it doesn't really matter which pool I have the money in. $100 added to this pool here is still just going to get me about 100% APR of that 100 that I've added in, no matter which pool, right? 97A. Good evening edition, indeed. Yeah. Little afternoon, evening edition here on YouTube. Oh, since we have a few people in here, and I'm not sure if everyone was watching from this morning, let me go ahead and post this this link again. Sergeant Filthy McNasty live stream. I'm going to post that link there. So this is, I think many of y'all know, we posted it in the Discord as well, that Sergeant Filthy McNasty, who's been on our stream a couple of times, very well known in DeFi Kingdoms community, is going to have me as a guest on his stream in some number of hours, I guess about almost 7 hours, a little less than 7 hours from now. 10 p.m. U.S. Central Time. So if you want to set your alarms for that, if y'all can make it, great. I do understand it might be late for some of y'all, and so if you don't make it, that is perfectly fine. But yeah, that ought to be cool. I'm going to try to stream it as well, but I'm not positive that I'm going to be successful or the format's going to be quite what I want. So we'll see. We can always catch it on his stream. We'll just have to see how it goes. Anyway, I thought I'd drop the link there so y'all can see. And I'm not sure exactly where it's going to pop up as far as being able to see it's live, but that'll at least get you to his channel. If you're not subscribed already, might be good. So 987A, how are you doing? You up to anything new and interesting here at the end of the day? Potatoes Post says, yeah, that is what I wanted. At least an idea. Absolutely right. Yeah. So again, I think that the gardeners are going to pull stuff out based on how much money you have in. So if all these factors were the same, in other words, if I only had 2 gardeners, I would probably want to be putting all of my funds into one single garden. And possibly the one with the highest APR percentage, right? Because you want those funds back faster. But also, if you've only got 2 gardeners, you want those 2 gardeners going into the garden that has a large amount of funds in there. And you don't want to be spreading out your funds across multiple gardens. The only reason I'm spreading out these funds across multiple gardens is because I've got 24 gardeners and I need to spread them out. Right? Because really only 6 gardeners are going to be effective in a specific pool across a 24-hour period, right? On a day-to-day basis. 6 gardeners is going to max out a single pool. So if I've got 4 pools, 6 times 4, 24, and that's how many gardeners that we're going to need for this. 987A says, messing around with Blender. Oh, interesting. What are you working on, 987A? Some more of your sandbox assets or something a little different? Let's see. Potato says, I already regret not crafting enough stones. Oh, man. Yeah. I think the crafting costs are up pretty high right now, aren't they? To craft those enhancement stones. Definitely those stones are getting very expensive. Let me check my spreadsheet here and just make sure what else I need to be looking at. So we have, oh yeah, I can put more items into liquidity if I had the funds. Oh man. Maybe we can check on liquidity as well and just see how that's going. So I've got a note here to myself to add more to the liquidity items. And what I'm talking about there is I've got 307 darkweed and, 150 or 144 lantern eye and, iron scale and all this kind of stuff. Can I add any of these to a liquidity pool, just like we've done over here? What have I got? Iron scale, maybe? Let's check it out in the marketplace. Crystal and milkweed I've kind of gotten there. And if we look, I've got 9.49 crystal and 105 milkweed. If I take a look at the back at my history says that I originally put in 60 milkweed and 11 crystal. So I've gained quite a few milkweed, but I've lost about 3 crystal in the meantime. I think overall I'm gaining some value here. But one of the things that I need to consider with this is it's tying up some of my crystal. And would it be better for me just to sell this milkweed and get the gold for it? I guess would be a good example. Get the gold for this right away so I can make those stamina potions to get Galena up to level 10 quicker. And ultimately that would mean when we use her to summon, which we plan to summon with her every 3 or 4 days. She's a really good Gen 0. Then we want those children to have pretty good stats, pretty good bonus. And that's going to happen more if we can get her up to level 10. And we don't want to be waiting 6 months to do that. We want to do that as quick as we can. Potato says, a lot of mats pump crazy due to stone carver and hatchery. Oh yeah, that's right. They're about to do the hatchery pretty soon. Or, I mean, they just did the hatchery. Sold most of my bags and hoped to buy back lower. I hadn't really been selling mats at all. Interesting, yeah. And I'm not sure what the best... it's very difficult for me to speculate on what would be, quote, the best options to do financially here. Just kind of playing around. This is another reason why I feel, or it's run across my thoughts, that I wanted to get into a guild, maybe with some higher level players. This reminds me of some of those large alliance games. When you have these games like Forge of Empire, or I was playing Lord of Ultima before, or some other games where you can be on a team of like 100 different people that are playing, and you're playing against other teams of 100 different people. And in several of those games, when I was first getting into that stuff, I didn't know the game very well, and I didn't want to bother people, and so I wanted to, do it on my own and just not be a burden to some other group of people when I didn't really know much. But eventually I was asked to join some of these guilds that we got into and learn to play the game a little bit more, and I found that I learned a lot more quickly when I was in these guilds and people were saying, hey, do this, or we need to do these things as the group. And I could learn, oh, this is what we need to be doing. This is how we need to be doing things. And of course, we all wanted our group, our guild, our alliance to succeed. And so, of course, we were really getting good alpha, right? Really getting good, highly important information sent to us. Nothing was being held back because as a team, we wanted to win. I wonder if it's going to be like that in a game like this with crypto. It's different when it's a free-to-play game and everyone's playing for free. Some people are paying to play and they just want to get up in the ranks higher, right? It's not about financial gain for themselves. They just want to see their characters up high in the ranks and some people are willing to pay to do that. And I was one of those people also willing to pay. There were a couple of games when I got up into the top, 10 myself. And I think at one particular time I reached number 1, but I shouldn't say that it was because I was that good. By that time, in the world that we were playing in, most of the top players had already moved on to another, quote, world. And I was one of the last players in this, I say last, I mean, there was still a lot left. But I was also one of the very top players from the top alliance who stuck around in that world. I had built up such a massive army in this world where we won as a team that I didn't want to just leave that. And so I stuck around in there. And then eventually, of course, I did become the top player in that world. But what really helped me out was being in this team or alliance that was a top alliance. And I say that because here in DeFi Kingdoms and maybe some other crypto games, it might be good to get into alliance, get some of that good alpha information, but at the same time, there might be, or I wonder if some people would hold back from the really true alpha, because of course in a financial game, there is something to be gained by not giving information to your potential opponents or potential people that you're competing against, right? Like in a way, all of us together that are watching the stream, including myself and other streamers and all these other people, we are trying to grow our bags. And of course, the money that's being circulated around comes from other players. So if, a really good thing, I think, I'm not sure if Crypto Grady cares, but when Crypto Grady shares some good alpha information, trying to help everybody out, but of course, ultimately that could shoot himself in the foot, or any of us in the foot, right? I remember Crypto Grady on one stream saying something about some people asking him to stop talking about stuff. They're giving away all the secrets. And I have a feeling that was slightly in jest, but maybe only slightly, if in jest at all, right? If you've got a way that you're making, $100 a day on something, but you give away the information on how to do it, then everyone else starts to do the same thing. And I can remember, for example, RJ was another good example. For those of you that have been around with me long enough, RJ was showing how he was making quite a bit of money on some summons. He was doing some summoning and he was making quite a bit of money. And he would be telling us about these mining Gen 1s and these 10 of 10s and what he was doing for all this and the spreadsheet that he was keeping. And he was saying then after about a month or so of that and doing these videos, it was getting harder for him to buy or find Gen 1 mining heroes because they were getting all scooped up. And of course, it's because, when those content creators are putting out content, or really when anyone's talking about anything, even if it's just people on the DFK general chat talking about how to play, if you've got people sharing information on there, then, and more people start picking up, hey, this is a way to do something and get some money, then you start to create the competition for yourself. Now more people are trying to pick up those Gen 1 mining heroes, and so on and so forth, and scooping them all up. High demand with a equivalent or low supply means that those values, those costs are going to shoot up also, which makes, of course, profits harder if your costs are shooting up. 9870 says, maybe he went into isolation with his real plan. That would not surprise me at all. I think I mentioned on a stream a couple of days ago that I did reach out to him. He said he was, quote, doing other things. And I saw him in Discord the other day. I shouldn't say I saw him necessarily, but somewhere, was it in the DeFi Kingdoms stuff here maybe? I forget where it was actually. Let's scroll down here. He was playing Fortnite, right? You can kind of see what some other people are playing. Here, playing World of Warcraft or playing Crusader Kings or, whatever it is. Is it right here? Oh, maybe this is it coming up. think his name was !RJ. Anyway, I found, and I don't know if it was in here or not. But yeah, he was playing Fortnite, which of course there's nothing against Fortnite, and people can play and chill out. I played some games that weren't crypto games and all that kind of stuff recently myself, just to chill out, relax, have fun. But it's also possible, what it made me think, 9A7A, to get, so I don't get too far off track, what it made me think is, you know, some people just get burned in the bear market, or even get out of the bear market. Like they gain their money, they pull their money out when they see the bear market coming. And RJ seems that he was a pretty smart guy. It's very, very possible that he was involved in lots of other things. Like he did let me know in a chat that we were having that he's just involved in other things. So maybe he was indeed involved in other things, pulled his money out of crypto while we're going through the bear market, and not, doesn't really care about all the stuff that's going on now. And then later when prices drop back down to a value where he feels it's a good time to get back in, yeah, maybe he'll get back in. And until then, just chill out and play Fortnite with all your millions of dollars that you made during the bull run, right? That's what I would do. Make $1 million during the bull run, pull it out during the bear market, and just wait to get back in at a low time again and rinse and repeat. Not going to blame anybody for doing that at all. Sounds nice enough. Yeah. I hear you. That would be the way to do it. All right. So one of the things that I was talking about doing here earlier is I've got 106 milkweed in here now and 9.4 crystal in here. Do I want to continue to pile in to this and add more items to this liquidity pool right here, right? Including all kinds of, and one of the things that I thought would be cool to do is provide specifically items like milkweed and swift thistle and so on, items that are specifically used for creating stamina potions. Since a lot of people want stamina potions, I feel that those items would be bought and sold fairly regularly and getting into a liquidity pool. Again, this is me giving away some alpha that, I might end up shooting myself in the foot. I've got 1% of the pool share right now, but if, 50 viewers, not that I have 50 at the moment, but hopefully at some time again, I'll be back up to 50 viewers. And so when I get back up to 50 viewers, if they're listening and paying attention and they all jump in and start doing the same thing that I'm doing, they think, oh yeah, Rock's got a great idea. Let's try to do that. Then of course, dozens or hundreds or thousands of more crystal and milkweeds are piling into this, which is diluting my pool share and giving me smaller percentages each time. So, 97A, when you're saying he went into isolation with his real plan, I think it's very possible that in a crypto game like this, that even in an alliance, we might not get a lot of the real true alpha because some of those players don't want to share the way that they're making so much money, right? And dilute their own bags. All very interesting how this stuff works together. And also, by the way, that's part of the reason that I took some time off, is I was doing some things that I was spending a lot of time doing some things that I didn't want to be streaming. I was like, I don't want to be streaming this stuff that I'm working on right now. And I was doing some things offline too. That's absolutely true. So there was a lot of stuff I was doing offline. But even the things that I was doing online in DeFi Kingdoms, because I've always stayed active in DeFi Kingdoms, I was like, I don't want to be streaming what I'm doing right now. So the next question is, well, Rock, why are you streaming stuff now? I think the answer is because some of this stuff I think is going to be fun. I like to stream. I liked that I was streaming before. I like to get back into it again. And we're just going to, practice and play around. And I think that I came to the conclusion that building a community and teaching people how to do things is more fun for me and possibly rewarding in other ways than to secretly be coming up with a plan to fill my bags the best way. That can be financially rewarding, but that's not really what I want to be doing with my time. I love to teach. I love the chat interaction that we had months ago, and to me that was more important than what I was doing. Not that I was doing a whole lot secretively, but I was thinking that's probably something that I would probably prefer to stream with everybody here and share all the information that I'm working on. Maybe teach y'all how to get some money as well. All right, so let's see here. The potential problem that I've got with this right at this moment is if I wanted to add some in here, how am I going to do that? I've got plenty of these materials, but not a lot of crystal and gold at the moment because a lot of that has gone into the stamina potions or filling liquidity pools again. And so I think what it's going to take is slowly over time, or I just need to inject another large amount of cash in here, which again, going back to the, maybe even a year, looking back at a year, now seems to be, a good time for a low. I don't know how much lower we're going to get than this. Of course, it could stay like this for many months. In which case, who knows? And of course, who knows what could happen in crypto over the course of the next few months or year. It's always a little dangerous. So that is something else that I'm working on too, is trying to inject a little bit more cash into here. I think the market's pretty low. I do think it's going to go lower. So I'm kind of waiting on that a little bit as well. But it is hampering me a little bit. So I'm thinking about just injecting small little bits every week or so. All right, let's get back to what we are trying to do here and my to-do list. I'd like to be adding more to the liquidity pools just to see how that goes. Let's see what I can do here. 659 gold. Oops, not there. 659 gold. Would be how much crystal here? Wow, only 0.32 crystal. That's not much of anything at all. Okay. All right. In which particular case, the liquidity pools are just going to have to wait. We're just going to have to add on to those a little bit at a time. I've just got too much stuff that I want to do that costs money. And I'm going to need to start rationing that. Let's see what else is on the to-do list here. Block level 1s from leveling up, which I've already done. Let's see. I think all that is okay. All right, well, looks like that's all that I need to do. Tell you what, some other things that I want to do here right at the moment. Let's X out of some of these things right there. Something else that I want to do is create a little list of some things going on in DeFi Kingdoms. Hey guys, if y'all have a chance to pull away from lurk mode for a little bit, I'm kind of curious, what are some things that y'all have seen from DeFi Kingdoms in the last week or so that y'all find most interesting or fun? 97, I see I've got a message from you here. I'll look at it off stream a little bit later. Let's see. Let's take a look at DeFi Kingdoms announcements and official PvP. And Wisdom Gaming trailer release in the last week. Yeah. Some of the things here: Stone Carver, pet hatching on Crystal Vale, perhaps. Quick select, I guess. Something else that's kind of interesting. Multi-quest. Heroes sales floor price warning. That was kind of interesting thing also. So you don't accidentally sell your hero for too little money. Let's see what else they got in here. Let's see some of the pet hatching stuff coming through. I guess further back we had the portals, being able to do summons. Oh, the new pools, I guess. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, that's where they're talking about the new pools. Yeah. It's also just some of the improvements in waifu bot, CV gardening, auto level up. Personally, for me, it's the reassurance from Wisdom that they are committed to developing or delivering something good and taking into account some community concerns. Yeah, Potato. I would agree with that. I'm wondering, man, and I've got such a small audience here. I don't mind talking about some somewhat, I don't want to say negative things, but things that aren't always rosy. But as I was, and I love the fact that Wisdom Game is getting this thing together, and it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, right? Sounds like what they're putting together is a lot of fun. But at the same time, doesn't it sound like what they're coming up with is exactly, well, I shouldn't say exactly. Doesn't it sound like what they're coming up with is right along the same lines as what Fight Club is already offering to us? Maybe at a smaller scale, right? So Fight Club is offering a strategy type of a game where it is turn-based and you are selecting your different commands, like whether we're going to block or stun or something like this, some different abilities. And we've got lots of different fighting styles and techniques and all of these different things for the different classes. To me, that sounds very much like Fight Club. However, Wisdom Gaming is probably got that running on a bigger scale than what Fight Club has, right? But in general, I wonder if when Wisdom Games actually releases their game, if there's going to be a little bit of a what's the word I want to use? A little bit of a soft landing there, because we've already had that same PvP style of game in Fight Club out for a while, already running tournaments. And even though Fight Club possibly might not be as involved or as fancy, at least at the moment. I mean, how long is it going to take Wisdom Games to come out with PvP? Another month, right? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know their release. Maybe it could be longer than they're a month away, or maybe it could be they're just a week or two away. But in the meantime, I can't see why Fight Club wouldn't be advancing their game as well. And especially now that they hear, I mean, if you're looking at again, I could be totally off base with all this. And if I am, let me know. But if I'm a designer for Fight Club and I see that Wisdom Game is coming out with this thing with 30 abilities per class, well, why don't we upgrade Fight Club to have 40 abilities per class, right? And if subclass matters, I think Fight Club already has that. And if these genetic traits are with active and passive, does Fight Club already do that too? Maybe not, but if they don't, it seems that it would be easy enough for Fight Club to add that ability pretty quickly, probably. Even if it was something pretty basic to begin with. 25 keyword mechanics like stun, silence, or exhaust, daze. But I think that that's the same thing that Fight Club already has when you've got all of the different battle styles that we have there. Decisions, strategic, turn-based battlefield. Well, that's the same thing that Fight Club has, right? You have to decide each turn what the other opponent might do, and so you need to do the same thing. Competitive ecosystem. So this might be something that Fight Club might need to work on a little bit, is the scalability and tier, some kind of a tiered thing that allows beginner players to play in a tier and a way that the higher level heroes are doing something in a different place, right? But that would be easy enough. In fact, that's kind of what Fight Club is doing with this upcoming thing, where only level 1s are allowed in this next tournament. Living game patches and stuff are going to continue to be released. Well, I think that's what Fight Club is offering us as well. And so I don't mean to put a damper on what we're going to get from Wisdom Games, but I can just see that it's possible that some people might come up and say, oh, all this excitement, we're going to have this great new thing. It's like, oh, we've already got this. We've had this for a while now. Having another PvP would certainly be fun and interesting, and I'm sure there will be some minor differences. But it just doesn't sound, I mean, it might be the difference in, you're trying to build a new car. And so Ford comes out with this vehicle right here and has out the Model T Ford, right? And then Chevrolet comes out with a vehicle, a year later when you're inventing the first car, right? You're inventing the very first car. Maybe I should specify, it's not just a next year of cars coming out, but you're inventing the first car. And Ford comes out with this Model T. And everyone's like, oh my goodness, wow, look at this. This is so cool. And everyone wants a Model T Ford and get all into that. And then a little bit later, Chevrolet comes out with their first vehicle. Then it's like, oh, okay, well, it's another car. Not that there's no place for it, right? There's plenty of different types of grocery stores and gas stations, and there's good competition between those. And so that's fine. but it's not an eye-opening. It's not a massive big difference. You know, when another cryptocurrency comes on the market anymore, I'm not sure if anyone is, you know, dropping their jaw at that too much. Another crypto. Let's see how it does. Whereas when Bitcoin first came out, of course, not a lot of people jumped on right away either, but it definitely made the news and was something spread around quite a bit as being a new invention, new technology, right? Potato says to comment on that, Dev said they are moving away from Gambit style towards more player involvement. Yeah, that would be fun, and I would be more happy to see something maybe a little bit more RPG like, or RTS. I'd really love to see an RTS, a real-time strategy, kind of like Warcraft 3. Right? I think that would be a lot of fun. Warcraft 3 was a massively popular game for many, many years. And I think that those real-time strategies as a genre of game are still really popular. And I don't even know what the current RTS, some of the best RTSs are out there. But that's a good question. What are they? Not that I want to go hunting around for a bunch of best RTS 2020, or maybe best RTS of all time, right? What are those? So StarCraft 2, Warhammer Age of Empires, Warcraft 3. See that Warcraft 3 still on this list, back from 2002. Age of Empires, Homeworld, and some of these I've never heard of before, right? Company of Heroes I haven't heard of before. I think I have played Age of Empires. I've not played Warhammer because I think I was involved in some other game at that time, possibly Warcraft, and which is why I didn't get involved with Warhammer. Looks like Warhammer continued to do stuff until 2008. Supreme Commander I've never heard of. Homeworld I don't think I've heard of. StarCraft, of course, I've heard of. And even though I never got into StarCraft, it was very similar to Warcraft, and so I just kind of continued along that line right there. Age of Empires, Bravo says, is best game ever, right? And so this is what I'm talking about right here. These real-time strategies, it's a fantastic genre of game that lives on for a long time. And this would require people do some, you know, that would be a good player versus player type of game, or even an alliance versus alliance, or even multiple alliances, right? In real-time combat with each other or something like that. I think something like that would be really good. Of course, that probably, you're talking about a AAA game company, and I don't know if Wisdom Games is AAA. Not that they have to be. Is Wisdom Games a AAA company? I don't know if this would tell me right off the bat or not. I'm sure Wisdom Games is great, right? They don't necessarily have to be a AAA gaming company to do that, but certainly a AAA gaming company coming into DeFi Kingdoms to make a real-time strategy, something like Warcraft or Age of Empires or something like that, I could see could be really amazing, right? Let's see. Potatoes says, always wanted to check that out. Never heard of it before. Bravo. And, of course, welcome Onion. Yeah. How you doing? Bravo's Lab. Potato says, have you checked out Gods Unchained? I have not. I've heard about it, but I've either been so much into Sandbox last year and early this year, or I jumped to DeFi Kingdoms, and now I've been, solely focused on DeFi Kingdoms for the last several months, that I just haven't looked at it. I haven't wanted to spread myself too thin. We could take a quick peek, I guess, of I think Crypto Stash plays Gods Unchained a little bit, or at least had at one point. We won't watch the whole thing here. Interesting. So this looks a little bit more like maybe what Wisdom Games is going to put out for us, perhaps. Some different characters on what looks to be different cards. And again, I don't want to look through the whole thing here. I'll just skip around a little bit. I could watch it later. But yeah, something like this. Not a ton of graphics necessarily, but still it looks kind of fun. Still not necessarily a real-time strategy that I had in mind, though. Although I guess maybe there is a little bit of real-timeness and strategy in there. Yeah, very interesting. And of course, this is a crypto game also, right? Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. Let's see. Bravo Slab says, well, my dad had this internet cafe back in the day, and I spent hours, if not days, playing Age of Empires. And Club Penguin, Age of Empires really put your brain cells to the test. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a ton of games out there. And I think Wisdom Games is going to be able to do something pretty good. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of graphics. I'm fine with even ASCII graphics or something, even though I would prefer if it was super simple to have some fancy graphics. That'd be nice. I think high graphics are very appealing to probably a majority or majority of the people. So if I'm trying to get more people involved in a game to play along with me, having the game designer design the game with really good graphics would be something that I would appreciate, because just for the fact that it would bring in more players. But that's never been something that's overly appealed to me too much. Kind of like what you're saying there, Bravos. You could get really wrapped up in something, and if the game requires more thinking power, that's something that was kind of interesting to me as well. Although I will say that after Fight Club came out and how much thinking they're requiring to do, I don't know, maybe I've gotten so old here that I'm kind of like, I'd rather play a more simple game. Something where I can kind of just chill out and not have to think so hard. It's still fun, but maybe a little less brain power than something like that. Potato says, I got a hero with elite active. Oh, wow. It needs a level, but it hurts to buy crystals at these prices. Oh, man. We can check out the price of some of these crystals here, too. I was looking at the price of Vigor crystals a little earlier. Look at this. 6.5 crystal for a Vigor crystal. We'll look at the price over time. It's gone up. I mean, way back over here, you're talking about, 1 to 2 crystals. Now it's 3 to 6 times as much over the course of what? Just a month, just from September. Hey guys, do y'all know a way that we can look further back in history? Does Dex Screener, I can't imagine that Dex Screener is only limiting history back to, a month and a half or something. And of course, lesser vigor crystals have been around for certainly a lot longer than a month and a half. Right? How could I see back further than what looks to be August the 15th? Yeah. You don't have any idea? Odd for you as well. You know, certainly some things, like if we were to take a look at other things, like maybe over here, you can see here, this is Deck Screener again. We're looking at a couple of different tokens, one USDC and compared to one USDT, and that goes back, and we can see all the way back into 2021 pretty easily there. So I was thinking maybe I was doing something wrong. I was even trying to look at 4-hour time limits. Go based on, days. But it's still just that same short period. Yeah. Maybe we can find someone who will know a little bit more about that. It's also possible that perhaps on some of these low liquidity items, rather than storing the data, of course, all this data has to be stored somewhere to print out these charts, right? And rather than storing the data, maybe they just, say, hey, we're going to save a month and a half of it, and then we're just going to drop it. That could be. Bravoslab says, I think we got the infrastructure in the sandbox to that real-time game. Maybe we can think of something else for desktop or Discord app. So, the thing about Sandbox is, and I haven't looked at any of the real recent games, but the Sandbox seems to strike me a lot more to like a first person or third person rather than a commander over a small army, right? I'm trying to think of something in Sandbox where we as a player had control over like 36 other units that we were trying to send on, foraging or questing cycles. Like, again, imagine, and I've never played Age of Empires, so I'm not really sure if y'all had the same thing. But like in Warcraft, if you ever played that, you could send your little peons to go to the gold mine to do mining, while you sent some other little peons to go to the forest to harvest wood, and they were just going to keep doing that, until those resources ran out. And then while that's going, you start to build some archers and some berserkers in some of the barracks, and then you send those out to do attacking, and you kind of plan your strategy and your combat there as your military units are coming out, and you've got to go and explore, do your exploration and all this kind of stuff. So it's kind of like a top-down play field where you as the player are controlling dozens or hundreds of units. Have you seen a game like that in Sandbox recently? Maybe you're a little bit more on top of things than I am. But I do agree with you, Bravos. Doing a desktop or something on the Discord app, I think would be really cool to do also. It might not be quite the same as what I'm talking about on Discord for the real-time strategy. Even though we could probably do a little something there. Again, I'm thinking of something a little bit larger scale. Again, kind of like Warcraft. But for hundreds or even thousands of players all at the same time in a larger world scenario with maybe dozens of guilds or factions that are trying to compete for resources and all that kind of stuff, right? But yeah, we could try something like that out on a Discord game and see how that plays. I still have not had a really great chance to look at documentation for coding, although I will say I did look around a little bit more. I spent like maybe 3 hours looking at code examples for DeFi Kingdoms and some stuff on GitHub. there's quite a bit of stuff, but what I'm really looking for to start off with is something fairly simple. It's kind of like almost like a hello world, maybe not quite that simple. But I would like to get started doing some coding for some DeFi Kingdoms interaction. And of course, also there is program a Discord bot, right? And so there's some interesting things that we could do here. Is it hard? Complexity of code depends on the type of bot you're trying to make. Well, it's just like anything else. I mean, you can make a tic-tac-toe game that if it's just one human player versus the other human player and you don't have to come up with an AI, that could be fairly simple. But if you're doing something harder, of course, or more complex, then it could be harder. But how to create a Discord bot right there, program to use right here. Looks like there's a couple of different items. Or how to program a game in Discord. Maybe that would be a little bit more precise. How to make a custom game in Discord. There are some videos with that as well. Can you program in Discord? Certainly you can. And is Discord some other stuff? Making a game with Discord's AI bot and all this kind of stuff. So this is kind of the things that I was looking at over the last few days, and hopefully I'll have something soon where we can actually start to put something together. Probably in the Darlantis Discord, I'll maybe release a little something, and then we can kind of customize from that. Saint Google, absolutely. Let's see here. Bravo says the Harmony hack reset the charts. Oh, I see. Although, is that true? Or are you just making that up, Bravo Slab? So if we look at the Harmony, actually, I guess rather than Harmony, I'd rather say bridge hack, right? So and I think the important distinction is the cryptocurrency itself did not get hacked, because we want to make sure we're not giving any impressions, any false impressions that the cryptocurrency got hacked. The bridge got hacked, right? The cryptocurrency technology is still fine. But if we look at this right here, the date of the hack was right here around June the 24th, which means that if those charts are stopping in, August the 14th, what happened for the month before that? Because if the hack was around June, or, what happened? Where's July? Where's August? Or where's the rest of August? So do you know something specifically that the bridge hack messed up the charts, or are you just kind of guessing because it was some amount of time ago? Let's see. Professor says, if you don't get this thing going, I will code a desktop Pokemon-like game that involves DFK pets. I will call it DFK Mon. Oh no. Do it, Bravo Slabs. Do it. I would be impressed with that. But yes, I am going to be working on this myself, so it is coming. Things are a little slower. And Bravo Slabs, I think you knew that I was going to be on Sergeant Filthy McNasty's stream later today, about another 6 hours. I think you knew that already. But since you just popped in recently, I thought I'd throw that out there. I'm hoping that some of our regular viewers here will go and watch that live as well. Give him some love. All right. 9A7A had brought to my attention a little earlier that the fire is blue, or kind of a teal blue this time, aqua, whatever color you want to call that, rather than red, which we saw last time. And 987A was also speculating that there could possibly, maybe, be a pattern to this. And it could just be a random pattern. It could be, it could have no implications at all. Or it could also mean that something specific is happening or able to happen when the color is a specific color. This is light green. If you say so. Looks more of a blue to me, but yeah. Maybe a bluish green, which is why I was saying teal and aqua. But yeah, whatever color this is, blue. Yep, blue. Just like this girl's shirt is blue, I guess. It would be a blue, kind of like the very edge of this egg right here. The edge is a very light blue shade around there, right? That's what I'm thinking, as opposed to green. But again, that's, you know, I think different people might see different colors. Plus, I'm not sure how this is coming across on y'all's screens. If the tint on your monitor is a little different, or if the shading on your monitor is a little different, then yeah, I mean, y'all might be seeing different colors than I am. All right. So what are we going to be doing here for the next little hour that we're talking about DeFi Kingdoms? How about I think on the spreadsheet for the list of things to do, we're all done for today. Yeah, mic static is getting worse. You mean worse all day or just worse right then? I was moving around a little bit, and so maybe brushing up against the microphone cable or something like that is causing a problem. I do not have the fan on, or the AC on, that's right next to me. So if the microphone is getting worse today, then definitely need to look into that. All right, what are we going to do here? We're looking for our activities. Let's check out what the bots are doing, I guess, and just make sure that everything's going smoothly. So our last interaction here was 4 p.m., so it's about 15 minutes ago. We are sending all of our stuff over to the main account. We are doing some level ups. Fortitude crystals are coming out. Oh man, I think that's our next fortitude crystal. If we take a look at fortitude crystals right now, for which account? For the main account, we only had 2. Does that mean that we've only got 1 left? Yikes. Oh, I'm sorry, was I saying fortitude? Yeah, that is a fortitude. Oh man, that's one of the expensive ones. So potatoes might be in the same boat as you, having to buy a really expensive crystal. I might have to start limiting how many of my heroes are actually getting crystals used on them. If we come over here and take a look at this main account, inventory, down to 1 fortitude crystal, and I really don't want to be down that low in anything. I do have 12 of these, 10 of those, right? 12 finesse crystals, 10 luck crystals. I don't think very many of my heroes are using those, obviously. We're not finding very many of them. Why do I have health vials over here and mana vials? I probably shouldn't. Let's go ahead and send those over. Can I send those over? No. Let me grab an address here. There we go. Rock 808. Approve the contract. We'll go ahead and do that. Oops. No, reject. Let's see. That is not the one that we want. I think we could have gotten ourselves in trouble if we actually followed through with that. What we really want is this account here, Rock 808B. I have a feeling that sending it to its own account name or same wallet address causes an irreparable problem. So let's approve that contract and confirm. Let's see. Potato says went with Crystal, got +6. Oh wow. Oh, just a +6 overall. Oh, okay. I thought one of your stats got a +6. I was like, that's how in the world did you get that? But you're talking about overall +6. Yeah, it's kind of mediocre. Not the worst I've seen, but also not the best. Nice HP and mana roll for Archer, though. Okay, cool. Very good. So did the crystal actually get you anything? I mean, I guess what I'm really trying to say is on the stat that the crystal was supposed to be working on, did you actually get those +1 bonuses for those things? I was doing a level up this morning on the Twitch stream, and we used an Insight crystal on I think a Wizard Gardener, and that had a 80% chance on its own, but I mean, without the crystal, it had an 80% chance to get Wisdom and a 5% chance to get the secondary growth stat was Wisdom, or Wisdom on the secondary growth was 5%. So by adding that crystal, we were going to be getting 85% primary growth and 20% secondary growth, and we missed both of those. We missed the 85% and then we missed the 20% also. So the use of that crystal was a total bust. I mean, every time that I level up, I'd still personally choose to do the same thing. But it's never fun when you're spending something like a crystal on those things and it does not work. It's like, oh no. Let's approve this contract first. Let's see. Yes, it did its job. 40% for intelligence hit. 2+ total. Oh, wow. Nice. So you did get it. Very good. Yeah, that's important, I feel. Did I not approve that contract already? I thought I did. Maybe this needs a moment to update here. Let's see, I'm going to turn on this fan again. If it causes a lot of audio problems or crackling or mic noise, just let me know. For just about being the beginning of October, it's pretty warm still here in Texas. We're just going to click on approve again, I think. Thought it was already approved. So this is approved, but I think we just need to wait a little bit for it to update. There we go. Okay. Send those items to mana vials. Over to the main account. All right. Oh, and this too. Send. Just kind of cleaning up the inventory a little bit right now. All right. I don't think we're allowed to send the cake. Not that I would want to anyway, I don't think. Hey, Potatoes, have you heard anything about what we can do with the cake, or what's going to be the reward for having the cake? I don't think I've heard anything. I'm not overly stressed about it or anxious. All right. So something else that we could do right now is we could look for level 1s. I've got 129 crystal in this account. So maybe what we should do is we should think about summoning. We've got an hour. Oh, we've only got 30 minutes left on this stream. That could be enough to do a summons. That could be enough time to get us summons ready. Let's see here. Oh, but before I did the summons, I wanted to see what we should be trying to even summon. Because Galena is a berserker, and I don't think we want berserkers in... Potatoes, do you have a chart somewhere, like maybe an infographic or something, on... Oh man, I was going to say on what Fight Club the different attacks were. I think that's posted somewhere, right? Is it on Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms website? There's market data. Home. DFK Fight Club. Oh, build your battle squad and prepare for battle. Heroes address. In other words, we give a wallet. What? And these are going to be the best 3 heroes? Build your squad and prepare for battle. Let's check this out. Have you seen this tool before? So if we were to choose this level 1 rare priest, we have, this is the one we summoned just the other day. Health of 119, damage 23, speed 16, main class is Priest main class heal and life. Are you from, are you doing streams yourself? What brings you to the stream today? Were you just searching for 808? or are you looking for crypto games or DeFi Kingdoms or something like that? Let's see. Potato says, nothing really, just a badge. It's a soul-bound token. Yeah, so I think what they were saying, I think somebody had said that we were going to be getting some kind of reward for that cake. But yes, it is soul-bound and it's going to stay in the wallet forever, yeah. They need to update the docs on Discord. Not sure about the website. Wow, I need to check that out. Yeah, this looks pretty interesting, doesn't it? And Potato says glossary lookup, classes for Discord, command to see the skills. Oh, gotcha. Right. Let's take a look at some of this other stuff. I've still got a level 1 in there. This warrior priest is also in there. Everything else is going to be a higher level than a level 1. So if we take a look at this guy and view also, then Ingar, Regal Root, is going to have Cleave and Last Stand with heal. Probably having heal as a main ability for our priest is going to be good. Life tap could also be good, I think. Cleave, I've seen used quite a bit. Last Stand, not sure if I've seen that too often being used. But, I mean, it is something that I've heard is good. So then we need to choose his third hero. So what are we looking for, really? In a combination of 3, are we looking for a healer, I think? We're looking for a healer, and so I think we've got that one. We're looking for some kind of high damage. And then maybe like a tank or something that can take high damage and deliver out. I'm going to say something that I've seen a lot from some people are, was it summoners? Putting a summoner up front, I think I've heard was pretty good. Of course, that means it would need a summoner because I do not have one in this wallet. So maybe right now we'll go take a quick look at summoners. And again, I don't know if this is really the best thing or not. I need to watch some videos and see what exactly would be the best things to, the best combination of heroes to get. I guess I'll do that this evening. Of course, also, I've got that interview with Sergeant tonight in about 6 or 5.5 more hours or so. But hopefully I can watch a couple of videos before then. Let's check out the tavern and let's look at summoners. And let's just see what... Actually, let's look at all level 1 anythings. Buying. Let's do a quick search just for summoners. Again, I don't know what... I don't even know if summoner is going to be what I want. So we've got some level 1s. Oh, you know what? When I look at this page also, I don't know right off the top if these are common or uncommon or mythics. Certainly, if they're not mythics, they're not going to stand very well, right? You'd probably want to have some mythic level 1s. Best to return to the video because the tournament strategy is very different from previous. Yeah, absolutely. Only level 1s is going to be a big difference. Absolutely right. So definitely want to check out those videos. So what we're looking at here is about 39 or 40 crystal for some of these level 1s that were popping out. If I wanted to summon my own, if I thought I had a better chance at summoning my own, how would I even go about doing that necessarily, right? So I would need to have wizard priest, some kind of wizard priest combination perhaps, which I don't think any of my Gen 0s are wizards or priests. I think I've got a pirate, a thief, a berserker, and a seer. I think those are the Gen 0s. See, Jeremy King says, just the area code for Hawaii. No, I'm a newbie, been DFK for about a month. The more I learn, the more I'm hooked, the more hooked I am. Absolutely. So I wouldn't call myself quite a newbie, but there's still a lot for me to learn. I'm really enthusiastic about the game. I know a little bit, but there are definitely people out there that know a lot more than I do. And yeah, I'm just kind of getting started in this. So Jeremy, if you are doing some DeFi Kingdoms already, what have you been doing a little bit? Or do you own some heroes? Are you just trying to get some money from some garden pools? Are you playing around a little bit? Just kind of sitting back and listening? What are you doing in the game? Are you aware that there is a tournament coming up where we can win quite a bit of prizes, and all we need is 3 level 1 heroes? And that's kind of what I'm looking at right now, is seeing, should I summon some new heroes that would be level 1 to get into the tournament, or should I go ahead and buy? And the challenge here is, when we summon, we might get some kind of random hero. It definitely will be a level 1, but it might not be the types of heroes that we best want necessarily. Whereas if we go and look at one in the tavern, we're a little bit more sure what we're going to be getting. Like, I can really look over this particular specific hero and say, do I want this one with all of its secondary class or subclass and all of its stats and perhaps profession, which I don't really think profession comes into play at all for the tournament. I think it is just going to be the stats themselves, which for level 1 is going to be purely based on how that hero was summoned. Was it summoned with a enhancement stone? Was it summoned by 2 mythics, and so it is also a mythic, so the rarity is going to play a big part in that? Is it a common or a mythic? And then the class and the subclass are going to be very important. And of course the hit points. And so if there was, again, some bonuses added on, then we might have some extra health there, right? Potato says, best time to get in the game, in my opinion. And I would agree with that. This is a really good time. I got into the game when prices were a little higher, and I did buy some heroes and some other things when the prices were a little higher. And so now I'm feeling a little bit of the pinch because prices are down. But we're at the bottom floor, pretty close to it now, I think, for all of crypto. I do think we're probably going to be coming down a little bit more, possibly. But with other things coming out, like Fight Club, which is this tournament that's coming out, and other PvP, I think you could probably, well, maybe I shouldn't say you. For me, I feel like I could fairly easily buy a hero, and then if I wanted to get rid of it in a couple weeks, I could probably sell it for either the same or more than I bought it for. As long as I paid a little bit of attention and didn't buy something superly overly priced. Now let's see. So I definitely need to watch the video to see, do we even want a summoner? So these summoners right here are about 40. If we go back and look at other things, Paladins could probably be pretty good. So what are level 1 Paladins looking like? 38, 40s also. My guess is going to be Monks. Don't know about that so much. Dark Knights was something that was really good in the previous tournament, but I don't think they're necessarily going to be quite as good as level 1s. This is something that I think I heard a couple of the guys talking about. 42s, 44s. So they're a little higher priced right now. Maybe some people still think they're good. Or maybe they're buying them for totally different reasons. Sage. Was that one that was good? I don't remember if Sage was going to be good in the tournaments or not. But look at this. Are you kidding me? 67 and 69 for a level 1 Sage. Of course, you know, part of that is... oops, let's come over to... Is it here? Yeah, here it is. Part of that is because they are an elite class anyway, right? And Dragoons and Sages are going to be probably the highest class anyway, because Dread Knights are not allowed. So Dragoons and Sages are going to be the highest class that can get in there right now. So that's probably a good thing to think about, is getting a good Sage or Dragoon in there. But those things are quite a bit more expensive. And if I wanted to grab one of those myself, I'm either going to be paying for it, or I'm going to need, of course, to match up a ninja and a summoner. And I'm pretty sure I don't have any or very many ninjas and summoners to pair up. We don't need to look at it at the moment. It's just not going to be pairing those up anytime soon. Let's take a look at Dragoons as well. Dragoons apply 79 and 80. Oh my goodness. So those are even more expensive. And again, I wonder if this price is just because they've been this price all the time. And Potatoes, you might know better than I do. You might have been looking at the floor for these things. I've not been looking to buy a Sage or a Dragoon. So I'm just not sure if these normally go. Level 1 Sages normally go. Oops. And these are only level 2s either. Oh my goodness. So there's a level 1. I wonder if a lot of people are buying up all the level 1s just for the tournament also. That's something else to consider. Let's come down here and let's make sure that we look at levels that are only up to level 1. And then that way, oops, what's going on? Level 2s? Why are they, oh, did I not go into level 1? Let's apply that. So 88 for the cheapest level 1. Yikes. And then 90, we quickly get to 90, and then 100 very quickly also. Potato says Sage is a tier, was considered for ban. Oh, wow. Yeah. So it's possible that Sages are just going to be that good, so close to the edge of being overpowered for this. And so they were thinking about banning it. That might be a good indication. Get a Sage. That might be all that somebody needs to hear, is get a Sage. I don't think I have any Sages in my whole collection of all my heroes. Oh, there I do. So what would Sage allow? Sage is going to allow a lightning strike and a tune and cleave for a warrior for the warrior subclass that it has. But of course I can't use this one, right? Because this one's really like level 5 or 6 or 7. So it's not, or level 8. So it's not going to be able to be used. But I just wanted to see what kind of attacks that it had available to it. Let's see. Potato says, my favorite hero along with the Paladin in general. And Potatoes, I think what you're talking about is Dragoons when I was looking at those. They are actually lower. Most of mine are 100 to 120. but real nice stat growth and a few rare. Interesting, interesting. I remember hearing that one of the specific hero classes gave a lot of charge, and I think we wanted that. And then, of course, also having something with a high, what was it, intelligence and something else, maybe intelligence, dexterity, I forget the two stats, help to determine if you get initiative or the first attack. And that could be kind of important also. See, sages and goons have been my only heroes I purchase on the higher end cost-wise for PvP. Interesting, interesting. And potatoes, is that solely because of what Fight Club is offering? Or are you thinking about PvP in general, even from what you've heard about what DeFi Kingdoms PvP is going to be offering? I have to imagine that it's mostly because of Fight Club, unless, of course, maybe duels. Maybe there was something with duels also. No, I actually meant Paladin is, it's one of the best. Oh, I see. Period. Best tank in the game, the magic resistance. Let's take a quick look at a Paladin as an example. Paladin, for me, I don't even know if I have a Paladin at all either. Archers, berserkers, a bunch of these floor level heroes. I've been picking up a bunch of floor heroes. Look at that. I don't see any Paladins at all in my 47 heroes. Mostly, again, because I have not really been focused too much on PvP at all before now. Yeah, I don't have any Paladins whatsoever. Let's see. Jeremy King says 17 heroes. First 8 were bought completely clueless. Yep, that sounds about normal. I think we buy our first couple kind of not knowing a whole lot. Random wizard miners, it said, yeah, I've got a couple of those too. But you know, I will say, Jeremy, if I don't know like how far along or how much you've got invested, or you know what you might have in the liquidity pools or the gardens or everything, or how much staked balance you have. I mean, all those things come into play when you start talking about having heroes that can get those returns, you know, back to you. But I will say that after questing for a while and getting these heroes leveled up and so on, even those floor heroes, even those kind of random wizard miners that I've got are still doing a pretty dang good job. And so do not despair. Yeah, some of those guys will still be fairly decent. And then, of course, I don't know if you've been, I'm going to assume you've been watching other people's videos where you've probably heard from other people a couple of times now that the profession is just a small part of the game, right? And so having a wizard miner, small part of the game, probably not that big of a deal. Just build up your wizard to, you know, be a good wizard. And then later on, as more things come out in the game, you'll have a good wizard, which is what you ultimately want. And again, profession is not going to be something that we focus on a whole lot down the road in the future. So that mining aspect of it, you know, pretty much fade away. So you're saying here, just questing and questing, trying to figure out training quests, discovering all the third-party apps are awesome. Indeed. Jeremy, have you got one of the bots? I don't want to necessarily encourage them too much, but I'm just kind of wondering if you'd thought about a bot for your questing. That was something, discovering those. Carlo has the waifu bot, which I ended up getting involved in and picking up. And I will say that that has been a game changer for me, to be able to have all of my heroes, or I think I had 20 heroes at the time before I got the bot. And I was thinking, I don't even want more heroes because it's too difficult to quest these 20, 27 heroes every day and multiple times a day. It was taking a long time, a lot of hours, several hours of my time each day to go on the quests and do all the stuff that I needed to do. But then when I got the waifu bot from Carlo, that really changed everything. Everything was more automated. Level ups that we have now as well have been godsend. And so it's really helped me feel like now those heroes are bringing back more investment faster, more returns on the investment faster. And with those higher returns on investment, I can buy more heroes. And I can also justify mentally to myself that it's okay to buy more because they're all returning back. Not only are the new ones questing faster, but also they're just returning back small bits of gains every day, right? And again, like I don't want to harp on that too much, but I will say that that is something that was a big game changer for me when I discovered that kind of thing. Of course, those bots do cost a little bit, I guess. DeFi Kingdoms has also helped provide some features that help questing as well. And maybe if you're not looking to spend more money on something like a bot, the features that DeFi Kingdoms has to allow you to speed up your own time for questing, that ultimately might give you a positive outlook on getting more heroes as well, right? If you can start seeing some of those returns faster. But 17 is absolutely a really good start on those heroes. What are you going for there, Jeremy? Are you looking for PvP stuff? Or are you looking for PvP down the road? Or are you just trying to quest to get the gains from the gardens and liquidity pools and stuff like that? Let's see. Potato says, I've been steadily accumulating sages for the DeFi Kingdom PvP for a while. Was not referring to the Fight Club. Oh, interesting. So you think that sages are going to have a really big impact on Wisdom's DeFi Kingdom official PvP? Maybe just because they are an elite class? Is that my guess? And because you have those two elite classes, I bet you're probably also trying to match up advanced, elite, and transcendent abilities, and also trying to summon hopefully a transcendent Dread Knight, right? That's going to be my guess also, that you're trying to stack those for that reason, which is, I think, amazing. Hey, Potatoes, how would you feel about sharing your screen sometime in the future on stream, and maybe coming on and when you do one of your summons, have a chat about that, and you can share your screen and we can see you do a summons and all that kind of thing? I mean, if you want to start your own stream, then, feel free, go for it. But I'm wondering if you might be interested in doing that if you're not interested in starting your own stream. Might be kind of cool to see other people, other players doing their thing. And if you're trying to do some transcendent summonings, that could be fun to watch. I know that a lot of people like to watch summons. Let's see. Potato says, did the same thing at the beginning. Glad I DCA'd. Jeremy King, that's actually one of my strategies. Absolutely. Let's see. Buying cheap, unaligned professions. Yeah. So that's something else. A few weeks ago, maybe it's been a month ago now, when I first discovered the bot, right? When I first discovered this waifu bot by Carlo, I was like, wow. And then I spent a day with it first. So I checked it out for a day with the current heroes that I had, and I did some math, and I plugged in some values into spreadsheets, and I said, wow, this is going to be really good. Each one of these heroes is bringing in a little bit more than its or a little bit more faster. And of course, because it is automated, it's going to be working 24/7. And I think I found out that especially with heroes as cheap as they are right now, being like $8 or $9 or $10, then I think I found that each of those, even those floor heroes, would be able to pay for themselves in about 2 or 3 months. If we just plugged them into the bot and got them going, I thought, well, you know, if I can get a return, if I can cover my costs in 2 to 3 months, then that seems good enough for me. And I ended up, I think, tossing in an extra $100 just to buy 10 more floor heroes, right? So that was one of the things I did. And they were just whatever was random, whatever the lowest price heroes were. They were just kind of random stuff, whatever's out there on the floor. Let's see. Dev's Potato says, Dev's previously said they will be a healer. Oh yeah, you're definitely going to want healers for sure. So that will be the ultimate tank paladin. Will be the killer though. Yeah. So that'd be the ultimate tank. The paladin of the ultimate killer in your. Yeah. Let me check out the tree again here. So. Oops. Did I? Oh, there it is. So you think the paladin is going to be the big killer as opposed to what, the Dark Knight or even the Dragoon? I haven't looked too much at the stats on these for fighting. But I'm wondering why you would think the paladin would be better over the druid. Oh, probably just because of the vitality, I think. Dragoons probably focus less on vitality is my guess. Like I said, I don't have all this stuff memorized. I'm sure you looked at it way more. Sage Heater, Pally Tank, Killer combination. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So then what you need is a high damage dealer, right? I forget what they're called. Maybe something like MDD. There's this trifecta that is in a lot of games, right? It's good to have a healer. It's good to have a tank that can take a lot of damage and do some amount of damage, but then you're supposed to have this high damage dealer as well. And generally, when you think of Dungeons and Dragons, you would think of something like a cleric being a healer. You go in with a fighter or some other type of big tank, and then you have a mage or a magic user that deals these high levels of damage, but it's a pretty weak unit on its own, right? And so you've got this trifecta type of a battle there. And I can see that we would want the same thing for PvP here, although maybe not. Maybe we just want to go in with a bunch of big tanks, or 2 tanks and a healer or something like that, right? Let's see. No bots, but I do know they exist. Move to DFK Quester, which makes for pretty easy questing. Good deal. Yeah, I think DFK Quester was something that I've heard a couple of times, and as long as you're doing easy questing, I think that's the big takeaway that I want to get at, is you don't want to be having to manually quest even 27 heroes, much less, at least for me, I found it hard to justify buying more if I was going to have to manually quest those more. And it wasn't until I found some automation or better way to quest that I was like, oh, now I can afford, now I'm justified in finding more heroes. Yeah. Let's see. And then you're saying definitely bots in the near future. Yeah. And I would also say, again, I can't recommend the bots only because it's not sanctioned by DFK officially. And so I wouldn't want to be sanctioning something or saying everything's A-OK when DFK is not really confirming everything's A-OK. But I do agree that at some point we are probably going to get some sanctioned automation tools for us, and that will be really good. In the meantime, I also don't want to totally discourage it. It's just a use at your own risk type of thing, right? Use at your own risk. Potato says, definitely interested. I've actually done not much summoning and glad. Yeah, absolutely. A good amount of 10/10s that are almost at level 5 already and ready to summon. Oh, wow. That would be kind of good, cool. Need to get set up tech-wise first. I don't think you necessarily need to get set up tech-wise. So I'm not talking about, buying a camera or anything like that. Of course, as you know, I don't use a webcam on my stream, and I think several other people don't. If you wanted to get one, of course, that's fine. But really, just like I do, I share my screen here and hopping into Discord. So I think it would really just be a matter of, and maybe on the next stream, we can try it as a, or at least I can make it available. Right now, I'm not plugged into Discord, but it would be as easy as coming into Discord and going to my Darlantis Discord right here. And down at the bottom of that, we've got a lobby and we've got gaming, and I can click on gaming right now. And now I am in the gaming lobby. And if you join this, or if anybody joins this here, you could join me in a voice chat right now, right? You just hop over to the Darlantis server, down at the bottom, into the gaming channel, and as long as you got a microphone, even one of those little $5 mics, then you'd be joined up with my stream right now. And then, of course, I think there's a way to, click the button here, share your screen, which I don't need to do since I'm already sharing the screen. But you would share the screen with the group, and then I could watch your screen, and then, of course, that gets streamed out because everything that's on my screen gets shared out, right? So I don't think you'd need to do a whole lot of tech stuff necessarily, though we could chat about it later if that interests you. Absolutely. Let's see here. Potato says, maybe Goon, as I can't see myself affording a dread anytime soon. I see, I hear you. Or willing on current prices, right. Yeah, current prices are pretty high. I think being able to summon your own is going to be really nice. Being able to summon your own dreads should definitely be something to work towards. You're also considering a good ninja as your third hero. That could be something pretty nice as well. I've heard good things about ninjas for Fight Club. DFK team is not for or against. They have said, yeah, they're not. I think what they don't want, said sometime in the past, they were saying that they didn't really care for bots and they didn't want their game to be overrun by bots. I remember them saying that in the past. And I think what their current stance is these particular automation tools for questing, they understand the need for that, and so they're not banning anyone for it. But I think at the same time, they wouldn't want to be allowing bots that are playing every single aspect of the game. I think that's what they're trying to avoid, where the whole thing is taken over. I mean, imagine Fight Club, for example. Imagine someone creating a bot that handles Fight Club, which would be easy to do. You just have the bot, kind of like chess, and there's AIs that play chess. You just have the bot programmed so that if your previous opponent has these combinations of heroes, and these type of things are available to be played, then you take these other types of heroes, or you take these other types of actions. So doing Fight Club botting could certainly be done. And then, of course, that takes some of the fun out of it for humans that have a hard time. It might be hard for humans and human brains to beat AI bots that are playing Fight Club or PvP, right? Potato says, I use separate device for my wallet device. Oh, I see. You don't use anything else. I see what you're saying. Yeah. And that makes sense. So I get what you're saying. You're not hooking Discord up to your thing that has your heroes on there. I absolutely understand that. Jeremy King says, bought most heroes floor price. That's a good way to do it. Wanted to quest and level up for return, and that was the simplest strategy. Yeah, that's a good strategy. Just get started. And those heroes will be worth more as they level up. But the more I dug, wow, what a game, just learned, just trying to learn and learn. There is so much to learn, that is true. Absolutely. There's a lot to learn here. And I think that's part of the fun also, but it definitely keeps me interested. But it also makes it a little challenging since there's so much stuff going on. Potato says, a good website that is popular for analyzing heroes is DFK Analytics. Absolutely. yeah, Jeremy, if you're not familiar with DFK Analytics for analyzing some heroes, let's see, I've got a link here, DFK Analytics, I guess. And what you could do is you could put in your wallet address, or you could put in a hero. I think there's an option for looking at heroes specifically, and it can tell you a little bit. So let's come over here as a quick example, and take my wallet address right here. And then it's going to display all the heroes that I've got in my wallet. So these 47 heroes right here. And I could do things like check their actives and passives, or look at their mining capabilities, or any type of other things that we could do. We could show what columns we wanted, what levels, what generations, all this kind of stuff. And then of course, I think there's also a way we could look at auctions. If we wanted to see what was going for sale, we could see what is in the tavern for sale. All that kind of stuff is available as well, when it was put in sale and everything. So if you're not using that, definitely very good. I will, I guess I could link this in chat. You probably already have the link yourself, but in case you don't, then that could be helpful for you. Potato says, don't want to throw too much info at you if you're new. Yeah, but look into advanced abilities. Absolutely right. I think one of the things that a lot of us want to be a little careful about is there is so much involved in the game. As a brand new person, if I started, like Mr. Winning, I don't know if any of y'all were around when Mr. Winning was around. I think some of y'all might be, if Nobel and 97A is still here. But Mr. Winning was a good friend of mine in Sandbox and hasn't been around for a little while. I think he's doing a bunch of stuff offline. And ultimately got me into DeFi Kingdoms. And there was so much information he was pouring in at me. And I was like, man, I don't know if I want to get into all that. And it was, I wouldn't say it was a turnoff, because I do like games that are very intricate and involved. But right at that moment, I didn't want to get that involved in some other game and have to learn all this new stuff about a new game, because I was very heavily into Sandbox at that time, and just didn't want to be filling my brain with other things or having to divide my time between different projects. And so sometimes I feel that giving too much information too early can be sometimes problematic, but yeah, there is a lot to learn, Jeremy, and I think if you like those type of games, this will definitely be one of them. You got an uncommon berserker, strength stoned, and advanced ability for 36 today. What? Dang, potatoes. I'm gonna have to follow you around a little bit, you know. I might even have to see if I can hire you for doing some shopping for me. Maybe I can hire you to do some shopping for me, and we can show off those heroes on stream and all this other kind of stuff, and add to my pool from some stuff that you've shopped around for me. And again, give you a little bit of compensation for that as well. Might have to think about that. Might be good. Let's see, what is this orange one right here? Is that a legendary? Is that what we're looking at here? This red color is kind of, does that mean legendary? Let's see if I can tell. Can I just click on that? Yeah, legendary. Yeah. So legendary thief for 405. Is this, hold on a second. What are we looking like? The cost is listed in jewel, or is this crystal? I don't think we can list any heroes anymore that are on Serendale. So it makes me think that this has got to be Crystal Veil. I'm going to suppose it's probably just a bug showing a jewel token here rather than a crystal token, right? I think I developed an addiction for finding deals. It's so much fun, even if I don't purchase. Well, Potatoes, something else that maybe you and I could kind of work together on, if you're enjoying the stream and you're going to be here anyway, maybe you'd be interested in me tossing you a couple of crystal and me saying, hey, let's go shopping with Potatoes, and you could actually just go and do some shopping. Maybe we could even watch you do some shopping on stream. I think some people could learn some things that way, maybe even myself. Or I shouldn't say maybe, probably I would learn some things myself that way. And it would give you an opportunity to spend some money that's not yours and, kind of add to the pool. And then maybe over time, as you're continuing to enjoy the stream and all this stuff, then you can kind of vicariously watch these little heroes that you've purchased gain some stuff right there, right? Gain up in levels and use all that stuff. And something else that I might, that I would kind of consider along with that is, I wonder if over some amount of time, we might want to start a guild where, I would be comfortable loaning out some of my heroes to people like you as an example, where you could use those for, PvP or whatever, right? And so some of these heroes that you might not have had the money for, that I'm pitching in the money for, you're getting to use those heroes a little bit later on also, right? And Potato says, that would be a great video for newcomers. I'd be game. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we can chat about that over, the next couple of days of streams and everything, and see what might work out really well. But absolutely, I think it might be fun to loan you back out some of the heroes that I end up purchasing from you helping shop. So imagine this scenario, right? You love to shop, and I've got maybe a little bit of extra funds that I can toss out in any particular day. Of course, you're spending your funds on your heroes, but maybe you've bought up all the heroes you can afford, and so I say, hey, let me toss out an additional 50 crystal or something like that. Go find us a good hero for 50 crystal, and we watch Potatoes on the stream, do the thing and get the heroes, and then we level it up with the bots, and over the course of the few days, or I guess months, we watch this hero leveling up. And then if we need to use it for a PvP, Potatoes comes and says, hey, I need a special type of hero, and have you got anything? And I can say, oh yes, we've got this level 5 that you actually bought a while back. Here, yeah, go ahead and borrow this, and we can loan it out back to Potatoes to do a thing and win a prize, and then return it back to us when they're done with it. So that kind of sounds fun. Let's see. It says DFK is a very powerful tool. Indeed, Jeremy is saying, was in the gardens at the first time, figured out a higher return with heroes. Let's see. Was in the gardens at first, then figured a higher return with heroes. Yes, that is absolutely true. Bookmarked all the DFK apps to folders. Haven't even looked at them all. So much info in the videos. Are so helpful. Yes, indeed. There's so many links and all that kind of stuff. Just a ton of things to go and take a look at. Lots of stuff in there. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely the gardens are a lot more profitable if you're using heroes against them as well. Yeah, very good. Potato says, hey, I'm out, y'all. Hey, Potatoes, I'm almost done with my stream as well. I'm probably just going to be streaming another 10 minutes, so you're not going to miss much. Have a good one. And Potatoes, if you can be online in another 5 hours or so, that's when Sergeant is going to do his stream, and I'll be on his stream on his YouTube channel. So check us out there. If not, if that's out of your time range, then don't worry. I'm sure he's going to record it. It'll be available on YouTube to watch later on. Have a good one, and I will see you tomorrow, if not later today. All right, guys. Like I said, I've got about another 10 more minutes on this stream, I think, and then we'll wrap it up here. I will be, as you just heard me say to Potatoes, I will be on Sergeant Filthy McNasty's stream on YouTube a little bit later. That link, you can either find his channel on YouTube or in our Discord for Darlantis. I've got a link for it in the general channel, just down there at the bottom. For it right there, you can just click on that and get over to it. Right. Let's exit out of that voice chat, I guess, for now. Let's see. New. All right, what do we got over here as we're wrapping up stuff? At the end of the day here, I'm just going to check some things real quick. If anyone has any new information for new bot version coming out, new giveaways. Let's check DeFi Kingdoms and see if they're doing anything with interesting new giveaways over here as well. Community contest doesn't look like it, so looks like we are good to go. Love this guy's name, Alex Jones's Belly Fat. What a name. All right. Any last minute bits of information to pass along before the end of the stream here? I know we're looking at Heroes from the Tavern. $599 for this Dark Knight? That seems way overpriced. What's going on with this guy? Dark Knight for $599 right here. 5 of 5 summons. It is a level 2 Gen 2 Dark Knight Knight combination with Wisdom. Forging. Dark Knight Forging? $125. So that's slightly under what I would say is something that I would particularly want necessarily. So we've got main class is Dark Knight with the strength bonuses, growth percentages, 85, 55, and so on. The subclass has a knight, which gives us 17, 13, 11, and so on there. So what we're seeing is significant strength. Vitality is pretty decent. And then recessive genes here, the class is a Dark Knight Archer, and then a Knight Warrior Forging, a bunch of gardening. Why would this one be worth 599 jewel or crystal or whatever? I don't understand that. Jeremy says, Rock808, let's chat with you. We'll see you again, buddy. Thank you very much, Jeremy. Thanks for stopping in. I will see you later. Again, Sergeant Filthy McNasty is going to have a YouTube stream a little bit later if you want to catch that. Otherwise, I will see you another day. We do streaming on Twitch also. I don't know if you've got a Twitch account, but we do a morning stream on Twitch and then an afternoon stream here on YouTube if you're just looking for more content. But otherwise, thanks for stopping by. Really enjoyed you in the stream. You're nice and talkative, which is always fun. I will see you later. Why? So Dark Knights. Let's just check Dark Knights. Why in the world? Because I don't think Dark Knights in general. Let's reset everything here. Dark Knights. Apply. Yeah, there's Dark Knights for way less. Oh, not subclass, main class. 42, 43. Price descending. There are some pretty high price Dark Knights, that's for sure, right? But I bet we can probably find this one more quickly scrolling down from the top than up from the bottom. $5.99. Was it this Dark Knight right here? Let's come over here and check again. $5.99. This one. Anaron Marblex. Yep, this is the one. Uncommon. Gen 2. Why would this one be so high? Why are all these so high? Level 2. Am I missing something? Foraging with some wisdom. I don't get it. So, scroll back up to the top and go price ace ascending. How's that different than some of these? Well, for one, they're level 2s, or that one was a level 2, and it was uncommon. But I bet we could probably find a level 2 uncommon Dark Knight. Doesn't have any summons, though. It is a generation 4, which might matter. Fishing. But I mean, this one's only 50. So that's 10 times less. Or more than 10 times less. Oh, maybe some aspect of it is a Dark Knight with all of its summons. That's something else to consider also. Because the Dark Knight paired up with the Paladin can get you a Dragoon. Maybe most of the Dark Knights have used up all of their summons to try to get that Dragoon. And it's so expensive because it has, that 599 crystal one, has all of its summons. That is one thing I'm noticing about these. Most of them don't have any summons, or very little summons left. So they've used up most of their value here. Of course, there's a Dark Knight common, but still just one. So tell you what, let's do something a little bit different here. Let's say that we're going to go after at least one summons left. Get rid of all those 0 summons. Bravo says, so what are we doing? I'm right here at this very moment. I'm trying to find out why a Dark Knight listed in the tavern would be 599 crystal when some of these others are 50. All right. And we're only going to look at up to level 3s. Or maybe we'll go all the way up to 4. Advanced class. I mean, it's a Dark Knight, right? It's not even, Sage Dragoon level. It's just advanced. Yeah. Oh, advanced abilities? Oh. We could look. I guess here. Did I miss oh yeah, I didn't even take a look at it. Yeah, so we've got advanced 2 there. But that's just it. That's all. Just a couple of it advanced. I don't think that alone also would cause it to be worth 10 times as much. No, I'm not buying it. Because I've got heroes with, I've got at least a dozen heroes with advanced abilities. So let's go ahead and check out these, apply. And actually, let's even go and look at uncommons just to kind of, well, no, I don't think I want to do that. Let's take generations down to 3 as well. And let's say apply. All right, now what are we looking at? So here, we've got at least 1 summons on these guys, starting with a floor of 45. These are commons, though. So here we have some uncommons with a couple of things here. So again, 69 for this one. It's only got 2 of the 5, but it is a Dark Knight Warrior. You know, Fisher, same thing as what we'd seen before. Here's a 3 of 3 summons. 75, 2 of 5. Here's a 3 of 3 and another 3 of 3. So again, compared this one with the 590 crystal option. It's a forager that even has a green dex, which again, not massive, but still. Look at all of these others. I bet we're even going to be able to find, like, see, here's a rare even. That's at least a 4th or a 5th of the price of that. It's only got 1 summons though, but not sure that that's, I'm not sure if that's the big deal or not. 3 summons for these guys. Of course, they're commons. Again, here's a 4. Of course, it is common. So if you're trying to do a summons with it, that could possibly make a difference. Bravos Labs says, the amount of summons left plays a part. Yeah, absolutely. I'm positive it does. And that's why I at least wanted 1 summons. But still, you know, we're seeing pretty good amounts of summons on. I mean, I could buy 4 of these type that already have 4 summons. So in other words, I could buy that 1 hero for 599 and only get, I think, 5 summons if it was maxed out. If I remember correctly, it had 5 of 5. So I could get 5 summons on that. Or I could buy 4 of these that have 4 of 4s, or 3 of 3s even, and that would ultimately give me a lot more summons. If that's really what I was trying for, right? Here's one 5 of 5, another 5 of 5. Of course, they're commons. Flipping these over. Man. And then we scroll way down. I'm just going to skip it. Of course, now here we see a bunch of 5 of 5s. Not nearly priced what the other one was. Uncommon Dark Knife or Dark Knight 5 of 5, only for $230. This is a Gen 2. Was the other one a Gen 1? It couldn't have been a Gen 1. I don't think you can have a Dark Knight being a Gen 1, can you? I guess you can. Let's see, 599. Oh, it's only going up. Oh, next page. So then we go up, we go up, we go up. I mean, here's a legendary even. Of course, it's only got 1 summons left. So where's our 599 one? Right here. So this is the one we're actually trying to compare, Bravos. It's a Gen 2. It's not even a Gen 1. It is a Gen 2. Level 2, uncommon. It's got all of its 5 of 5, which is fine. But still, it's a forager who has stuff in wisdom. Right? Wisdom, as you can see, is not a good stat for a Dark Knight. $599 seems way overpriced for this uncommon Dark Knight Gen 2. And I guess some people do overprice their items, right? I just can't see any reason. And of course, like you said, there could be a reason if it had advanced abilities that were elite or transcendent or something like that, absolutely. But I mean, it's just got too advanced things here. I don't think that would bring it up, 400 crystal of value. I really don't. Yeah. Now, if it had elite compared to the floor ones, we could do that. I don't think I'm going to do that today. I was just about to wrap up stream, but yeah, I mean, we could compare it and look at the recessive genes and the active and passive abilities there, and we could see if that was really it. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's just way overpriced, right? I don't know enough about that stuff, so maybe I'm off base with that. Anyway, and most likely, I agree there. All right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap things up. I've been streaming here for about 3 hours now. It is about 5:30 my time, and I am ready for a little bit of a break, grab some dinner, all that kind of good stuff. Keep in mind, I will be streaming with Sergeant Filthy McNasty a little bit later today. So if you are wanting some more content, I'd kind of enjoy some of my my patrons to come on in and check out the stream that he's putting together. And that's going to be at 10 p.m. There is also a link to this in the Darlantis Discord in the general thing down there at the bottom. Set your alarms for the stream starts Philip Nasty 10 p.m. U.S. Central Time. That's in about 4.5 hours from now, and so on and so forth. It'd be cool to see some of y'all in there. But if not, if y'all can't make it, that's not too big of a deal. It will be recorded and available on his channel, and I'm probably going to record it and have it available on something of mine as well. So make sure to set the notification. I definitely have a notification for myself. But yeah, set your alarms for it. Absolutely true. I set an alarm on my phone. All right, guys. Anyway, that is it for me for now. Looks like I'll be involved in 3 streams today. Man, we're getting busy. Take care. Bravos, thanks for being in chat. Always appreciate you. Jeremy, I know that you've already left. Potatoes, I know that you've already left. Thanks for being here. And, of course, Nobel was here a little bit earlier. Appreciate all of y'all coming in. It's the viewers that help me to be inspired to keep streaming. Absolutely. So, really appreciate it. And I will see y'all a little... Oh, there, Nobel's still there. Lurking in the background as always. Take care. Didn't mean to pull you out of lurk mode. But anyway, y'all take care. I will see y'all soon. See y'all soon.